Okay, let me ask you this. When a loved one disappears and police fail to find them, should the family be able to sue for negligence? That's the explosive question swirling around the Guthrie family's case, a kidnapping that's now stretched past 6 months with basically zero answers. Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, was abducted from her Tucson home in February. She's now presumed dead. But the investigation? It's been a dumpster fire of missed opportunities, questionable decisions, and what critics are calling outright incompetence. And here's the kicker. Legal experts are split on whether the Guthries could, or should, sue Pima County over this mess. Let's unpack why this case is so much more than a tragic news story. It's a window into how law enforcement works or fails to work, and why holding them accountable might be harder than you think. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Chris Nanos' team had every resource to crack this case wide open, right? But here's what happened instead. Ransom notes were released months later. Blood evidence on the porch sat uncollected for hours while reporters and delivery drivers trampled through it, and the FBI wasn't even looped in for the first 4 days. 4 days. In a kidnapping case where the victim has severe health issues and no medication? That's not just a mistake, it's criminal. But here's the catch. Legally, suing law enforcement for negligence is like trying to nail jelly to a wall. As attorney Brian Sullivan put it, it's almost impossible. Qualified immunity protects cops unless they acted in bad faith, and proving that? Nearly impossible. But wait, does that mean departments can mess up with zero consequences? That's the bitter pill here. Now, let's get into what really fascinates me. The blood on the porch. This wasn't just a random stain, it was Nancy's DNA, sitting there in plain sight. But cops didn't secure the scene for hours.
Why?
Were they understaffed? Distracted? Or was it arrogance? Either way, this blunder might have destroyed critical evidence linking the abduction to a suspect. And here's where it gets personal. Savannah Guthrie is a journalist. She's built her career on digging for truth. So imagine her frustration. Her family's tragedy becomes a case study in systemic failure, and she's powerless to force answers. That's why suing might not even be about money, it's about exposure. Discovery could force the department to air its dirty laundry, maybe even reform how they handle cases. But is that realistic? Or just wishful thinking? Then there's the ransom note dilemma. The notes demanded Bitcoin, threatened Nancy's life, and get this, were dated after she supposedly perished. So, what if the family had paid up? Would she have been returned alive? Law enforcement typically advises against paying ransoms, but what if their advice was wrong here? Dan Abrams called it almost impossible to sue over that choice, but this raises a deeper question. How much trust should we place in police protocols when they're clearly not infallible? And if the Guthries did sue, would it just be a PR stunt? Or could it spark real change? Mark Geragos, the attorney to the stars, thinks they've got a shot. But Geragos is the guy who defended Michael Jackson. He's a showman. So maybe this is less about justice and more about pressure. A lawsuit could humiliate Pima County into trying harder. But is that how the system's supposed to work? Here's the part that really sticks in my craw, the leadership drama. Sheriff Nanos, homicide chief, reprimanded for poor judgment in another case, then promoted. Detectives missed blood evidence. The search plane didn't launch until it was too dark to use its cameras. And former Sheriff Lieutenant Heather Lappin claims Nanos purged top detectives who supported her election bid. So this isn't just incompetence, it's systemic rot. If you're the Guthrie family, do you even care about legal technicalities at this point? You want accountability. You want to know why your mom became a casualty of bureaucratic laziness. But the law isn't designed to give victims closure. It's designed to protect institutions. That's the dirty secret no one wants to admit. So where does this leave us? The Guthrie case isn't just about one family's grief. It's about a system that's rigged to shield itself from blame, even when it fails spectacularly. And it's about the haunting what-ifs. What if the blood had been collected sooner? What if the FBI was called in immediately? What if the family had defied police advice and paid the ransom? We'll never know. But here's my take. Lawsuits like this aren't just legal battles, they're moral statements. They force us to ask whether we're okay with a system where mistakes get buried, not fixed. And if you're watching this, I want to hear from you. Should families like the Guthries have the right to hold law enforcement accountable, even if the law says otherwise? Drop your thoughts below, because this isn't just their fight. It's all of ours.